All right, good afternoon. Uh, Today is somewhere in the third week of January 2026. My name is Sterling D. Wild. I'm the youngest of 14 children raised in Northwest Alaska in the Alaskan bush. My mother was Alaska Native, Athabascan Indian. My father was Belgian, Welsh, and Flemish, born, raised during the Depression in Oakland, California. He moved up to Alaska in 1940s and met my mom around Ruby. And anyways, I've been wanting to start a channel on YouTube for a while. I just been posting on Facebook and stuff, but the channel originally, I the funnest, best thing that I want to share that I do is I float rafts down the Yukon River. And I'm a civil engineer graduate. I've held engineering jobs here in Fairbanks all my quite a bit since 2014, and through my whole career in school and working here in Fairbanks, I never really found any kind of a passion in the industry that I was in or in any kind of a job working for man, to tell the truth. I was raised out in the bush, out in the Alaskan wilderness, and we never lived in town. We never had a lot of the amenities like hospitals and supermarket and even a store, So we ran out a lot of things growing up, but gave us a real good appreciation for for the smaller things in life. And a lot of that is kind of what I wanted to share, and that's what I get out of like floating log rafts down the Yukon River. I floated one 560 miles from the Yukon River Bridge on the Dalton Highway all the way to Grayling, and that's when I kind of first started out doing that. And there's money in it too, because log rafts, one big raft has got about 5 to 7 cords of firewood in it, and you can sell those in the villages, just like it's as good as money, $500 a cord typically. So I've been doing that for a few years, and I was working too, but now I'm kind of done working. I've been doing artwork a lot lately. I have a lot of different stuff that I do, either practical, like I made that bow and arrow and that picture frame. My daughter's name is Amara, so that A came out, that A on top, that was by chance. And that's something kind of I wanted to show is like a lot of this artwork that I do, I didn't come up with it. A lot of this stuff, like this lamp here, is what I want to show here. And I figure I'll try to keep it to about 3 minutes at a time. But what I want to demonstrate about this lamp is this lamp pretty much built itself. A lot of the times when I lack um, uh, inspiration, I tell you what, man, I say a prayer, and every single time, it's like a form of the best meditation in the whole universe. The answer comes to me. So a lot of times when I'm stuck, I don't push it. This lamp took me quite a while to make. I mean, I got this diamond willow from old mental recovery camp I was in. I battled all my life with addiction and substance abuse and just otherwise ungodly behavior, I guess. And it's set me back quite a bit all my life. But I find now that, church is where my heart is at. And a lot of times my best times I have on this earth are just working on something like this and prayer and my own personal experience with God. I'm a little bit remiss with some of the church services and also the even the recovery camps or rehabilitation services they have available here in Fairbanks. At least I'll have to speak honest about it. Like there's a lot about these organizations that don't really groove with me, and they never really worked. I learned a lot through all of my treatment and counseling and therapy that I've gone through all my life. And I don't consider myself to be abused. I used to think I was like emotionally abused and all that, but I'm not an abuse victim. I'm a survivor, and so this is a demonstration of that. I should have been dead 1,000 times over, but here I am. I'm happy. I'm warm, even in the face of adversity. This apartment is subsidized. I would like it to be otherwise, but it's what I got, and I thank God for it. The windows are cold. It's hard to get anything fixed, so I do everything myself. I fixed the windows. I redid the floor. I cleaned and sanded everything down underneath so that there's no old dust from 1970s. I think that's when this building was built. So I do well on my own fix my own stuff. I don't like people coming into my place, even if they own it, to go and fix it. So over here you'll see that kind of a mess, but I actually know where everything's at. So I do all my own fixing of stuff. I don't throw much of anything away when it comes to hardware. So I've got all my nuts and bolts and everything kind of sorted out. So when I need to do something, I can do it myself. I've salvaged a lot of stuff from the transfer site, as they call it here in Fairbanks. There's several transfer sites, they call them, around town, where people put stuff before that they're going to throw away. It's actually the dump, but there's a section in the dump where you can leave stuff for other people to salvage. I've done a lot of that. Not so much into that anymore because I got more stuff than I really need. As you can see, I've got tons of fluids and stuff for automobiles. Under the stairs, I got paints, and I've got stains, so I could stain the whole state of Alaska probably. But I like to have my own stuff. I fixed my own chainsaw. I rebuilt that one from the transfer site. That's a good chainsaw. I retrofitted it for a big old bar. So I make my own stuff. Some of the stuff you can't even buy because, like I said, I retrofit things. It works out all right. So back to what I wanted to show. This here lamp, and you have to excuse me, I'm just going to keep this running. Frying up some moose meat right now. This moose I got this fall, and some of my artwork is built on parts that I salvaged from the moose. Not the lamp that I'm showing now, but some other artwork I'll show later that I'm not quite done with, and so I'll show it as I'm building it too. So with this lamp here, like I said, the Diamond Willow I got down in Old Minto on the Upper Tanana River. It's a recovery camp. It's isolated, remote camp out in the woods on the river. I spent 5 weeks there, me and my daughter, and I started carving this Diamond Willow. It was big. It's a lot of work to carve, and it wasn't about till about almost a year after I had gotten it that I looked at it, and it was almost done carved. There was still some left over, and you can see I left one little knob here where I didn't carve it, just so you can see what it looks like with the bark on a little bit. And I looked at it, I was like, man, I need to finish that. I think I'll make a lamp out of that. So I started making a lamp, and then this piece I found at the transfer site, and I was like, hey, that goes good on top of it. And it just started to sort of build itself. And every time I put it down, every time I didn't know what I was doing, I just put it down. Sometimes I pray, and the answer will come right to me. I prayed about, I needed an idea of how to make it more stable and what kind of a base to have on it, because that's a kind of a delicate part. It's a big part of the art piece itself for a lamp is its base. And I didn't want I didn't want any kind of artificial stuff. Only artificial I wanted on it was the glass and the lampshade. But then all of a sudden one day I had this sheep antler. It's a doll sheep, full curl too. My late sister Reba got it down towards Titlin, I believe. And I had both of them. I cut one side up because inside there's a bone that is almost like, it looks like jade. There's different colors depending on what sheep you get. Sometimes they're pink shades of jade and on the inside. So I cut one up so that I could use it for, like making stuff like feathers or whatever. It's just a material that you can polish down and make cool stuff out of. But the other half of it was still left, and I'm not really like into sport hunting or anything like that, so I didn't really mind destroying one side of the antler and just keeping the other side for whatever. And then one day I was going through all my stuff. That's where I keep most of my artwork and stuff, beads and stuff. It was a lot more of a mess. It looks like a mess, but I know where everything's at. Anyway, and so I was cleaning it up, and I put the lamp down, and then I put the antler down, and I walked away, and I looked back, and man, this wasn't more than 24 hours after I prayed, like, how am I gonna finish? Lord, give me some inspiration on how to finish the base. And then not even a day later, I swear, this I just put it on the ground. I walked in, I turned around, and I looked, and I was like, "Whoa, that's it!" And like I say, I didn't design this. I don't feel like I designed any of this because I pray often, and when I need something, it comes to. To me, at least, God hasn't been like a vending machine. Prayer hasn't been, but when I pray, I realize I've had the answer all the time. That's what happens when I pray, and that's my experience. So I try not to pray too much for material things, but whatever. That's me. And yeah, so then I had found a whole bunch of epoxy in the transfer site one day, and that's right here, this epoxy resin, and this stuff is pretty spendy. So I was like, oh boy. And so thank God I found that, and I started, I coated the whole thing. Then I coated this part right here, and it really blinged, brought out the shapes to it, and made it look bigger and all that. So I was pretty happy with how it came out. And then it is a touch lamp, and so right now, at that time, the only way to turn it on and off was to grab up here, and I was like, there needs to be something down here. And I have my own personal tales about Christ in my life and how He saved me, and some quite miraculous events in my life that leaves me with no doubt the existence of Christ. And so I was looking around. I dug through all my stuff, and like I said, I don't throw stuff away. I even have a place for little knickknacks with that you can bolt onto things, like little handles that bolt on. And one of them was this cross, and that little fish-looking thing was back when Christianity first came around. I guess I read up on it, and that little sign right there was what they used to paint on doors and whatnot to signify that they were a Christian. But they had to hide their Christianity back then, and I don't even think they were called Christians then. But they didn't have the cross because just everything was covert, their beliefs, and so they had that little fish swishy thing that they put down. And so I found this cross with the fish swishy thing on it, and it also had a piece of steel around the outside like a circle. I trimmed that away, filed it down, and screwed it on in there, glued it in, and so now it's the on-off switch. And you can't really see too well, but yeah, it works quite well. And so I'm happy with it. The touch lamp was a little bit of a trick to get stuck in there and wired in right. I had to do some Googling and some testing and figuring out the circuit. You can actually almost see it up in there, the circuit board in there. So that's about all I wanted to show about this lamp. This one took several years to finish because I was going so slow at it, and I'm not making it for sale. I thought about it. It's been on my mind for a long time, and pardon my poor camera, it's hard to really get a good visual of it. And so that's all I wanted to show. And you know, the feathers. This piece right here came from the lower, about midway up the Yukon River near the village of Koyukuk. I was down there this summer floating a raft down, and I sold 10 cords of wood in Koyukuk after picking up this piece of diamond willow last summer into the fall. This feather came from Old Mento also, same time I got this, a spruce chicken, or no, a willow grouse, actually. Uh, I believe it was. I forget how I got it. I think it was the one thing I killed when I was in Old Mento. I hit it with a throwing knife. And this feather here was from here in Fairbanks, down on the river on the Upper Tanana, near Perkins Landing, it's called. A lot of geese like to gather on this mud bars in the fall time and after they're molting. And during their molt, they can't fly, so they gather up on the sandbars while they're losing their feathers and growing new ones. And so that feather came out of them while they were molting. This here came from the transfer site on the west side of Fairbanks. This came from the transfer site on the east side of Fairbanks. And yeah, you know, I guess that's about all I had to show here. But it's done finally. And I think it's done. Actually, what I'm going to consider now is to do a rawhide, uh, moose skin rawhide for the shade around the outside. But I may not do it to this one. I'll consider it. I think this one is done. Like I said, I don't plan to sell it, although I have considered it, and thinking about posting it anywhere for like $2,500, and maybe nobody will buy it. But we'll see. I kind of want to get it out there for people to see. It's beautiful, and but I like it right where it's at. It belongs right over here, and yep, that's where it belongs. A little bit to the right though, about uh, where that heater is. It's cold here in Fairbanks, 22 below. This place is really cold. The floor has like a standing crawl space underneath that's extremely cold too. So keep the door all blocked up and whatnot. Staying in here, hunkered down, finishing some artwork, and now I guess I'll post this to YouTube. And thank you all for watching. Subscribe. I don't know. I've never done a YouTube channel before, so we'll see how that goes. And may you all eat well and thank the Lord for your blessings. And I thank the Lord for my blessings, the moose meat, the artwork, a place to live, and the skills and what I need from God to live a healthy and meaningful life. I pray. Amen.